Thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure.
For the people that are watching us, we're from The Upcoming. It's a London-based company, but we're based in New York now.
I'm going to London the end of the month.
Oh, what for?
I'm going to talk to a number of people about doing a play there next hiatus, next year.
Nice.
I go to London a lot. I work there a lot. I love it.
Which theatre would you be in? Do you know?
Well, it depends on which theater wants to do a project, but I'm going to meet with the ones that I love, the Dunmar and the Old Vic and...
Big ones?
Yeah, I mean, and maybe we'll do something that'll eventually get back to the West End, and who knows? But I miss it. I almost was able to do a play this hiatus, but couldn't quite make the schedule work. So I'm going to shoot for next year.
Amazing. Then maybe I'll come over and see you there.
Come over and see me there, yeah.
So for this film, could you let us know a little bit about your character? What's the character's name and what you do in it?
What is his name? I don't remember. What's my name?
You may have the cheat sheet.
Forgot. I do know that he looks a lot like I do. And that was a challenge. There was a lot. All of my craft and technique was required to get him to look like me. I forget his name, but he's the father of a split family. His previous wife and my kids from that family are going through an ordeal with the impending death of the matriarch of that family, who my character adored and had a very good relationship with. So it's about the pulling apart of families, but how it can come back together and how there is a fluidity of love underneath all of the confusion and complexities in families. And I certainly understand that. And I love the way that Dan wrote this script in an honest and compelling way that kind of explores that.
Well, in all honesty, I think pretty much every family is a little bit dysfunctional.
A little bit?
Well, I was being polite.
Have you ever found a perfect family?
No.
I think the Osmonds from the way back when, but yeah, who knows?
Yeah, all of them are a little bit or more, I would say.
I don't think so, but yeah.
So how was it working with the director? Because he's great, obviously, from what I've seen for him. How was it working with him?
It was good. I mean, writer-directors can be tricky because they are so close to the material. And directors who are directing someone else's writing is looking to find it, and a writer-director sometimes feels like he already knows it, you know. And that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case with Dan, and we were still able to explore and change stuff, and you know, it was really good. And you have people like Fran Drescher and Justin Long and the other kids who were wonderful. And the woman who played my current wife, Dana Erickson, who's truly a phenomenal actress, you know. So, and you have to work fast in the independent world, you know. So 17 days of shooting.
That was quick.
It's all it is nowadays.
Was it long days?
Probably. I don't remember that so much, but yeah, no, I'm sure.
Yeah, 17.
I think there's a limit to how many hours you can work because the crew starts getting overtime and then you start going over budget. So you have
kids.
You have to work for what?
Well, the kids as well. They can't work under.
Kids have a limit to how many hours they can work, but you have to move fast and be ready, but also be willing to see what happens. So there was one very important scene when both families come together in my apartment that we did not really have the time for, and yet we found a way to open up that scene completely in a way that Dan had not expected, and discover it in a way that made it all that much better. And you know, we just did it, took the time and did it. You know, under pressure, you just have to find a way.
Interesting. How was it working with Fran? Because Fran is a massive celebrity, as we know. We all know her from The Nanny. So.
Yeah, well, I've been a fan of Fran's forever, and I met her the first day we worked together, and yet we felt like we've known each other all our lives because she's so easy that way. And she's adorable and beautiful, and she's a force of nature, and happens to be one of the sweetest people I've met in this business. That's a pretty good series of qualities and assets to especially because that first moment that we had was one of the more important moments in the film, and for us. And you need somebody you can trust to get there. Well, short answer is she's fantastic.
I agree, I agree. So apart from the theater, what do you have coming up next?
Apart from theater? Yeah. Well, I had a film at the Sundance Film Festival that won the Grand Jury Prize there called Clemency, directed by Chinoye Chukwu with Alfre Woodard, who I can't imagine will not get nominated for an Oscar, and Aldous Hodge, who probably also, Wendell Pierce is in it. It's a phenomenal, beautiful, intense, and striking movie. Clearly, other people felt the same way because it won the Grand Jury Prize, and I couldn't be more proud. Doing press for that movie was one of the glorious times of ever doing press, because I was so proud of being a part of that film. So there's that. It's coming out in December, and I'm starting to shoot Ballers again next week, and then I go to Vancouver for another season of The Good Doctor.
Thank you so much. It was so nice to have you. Thank you and good luck.